You've been lied to. They told you to be nice, play fair, work hard, be honest, and one day you'd be rewarded. But look around. The rich, the powerful, the untouchable, they don't play fair. They play smart. There's a game happening in every room, a silent war of status, power, and perception. And if you don't know the rules, you're already losing. This video isn't about motivation. It's about advantage. It's about understanding how power really works, so you don't get used, ignored, or replaced. Niccolò Machiavelli didn't write fairy tales. He exposed the truth, the kind most people can't handle. And today, we translate his ruthless clarity into modern power. This isn't self-help, it's self-defense. So stop playing blind and start thinking like a modern Machiavelli. Niccolò Machiavelli wasn't a villain. He was a political realist. People think of him as cold or cruel, but his true gift was clarity. He didn't promote evil. He exposed how power actually works. He saw that appearances often matter more than truth, and that strategy beats sincerity. His book, The Prince, was never a fantasy. It was a survival manual for navigating betrayal, for winning influence, for seeing the world without illusion. And today, that lens is more useful than ever. Because when you see the world like Machiavelli did, you stop being controlled and start controlling the game. To think like a modern Machiavelli, you must first unlearn what you've been told. That goodness is enough, that the truth will defend itself, that power is toxic. It isn't. Power is neutral. It's a tool, and strategy is how you wield it. In a world flooded with noise, distraction, and manipulation, your greatest edge is clarity, focus, detachment. The moment you stop reacting and start observing, you step into a different role, from follower to player, from player to strategist. And every strategist follows laws. Machiavelli wrote his. Here are 5 for our time. The laws of the modern Machiavellian mind. The truth doesn't matter if no one hears it. What matters is who defines the narrative. This law teaches that perception outranks fact. Reality is filtered through stories, symbols, and emotional context. If you don't shape the frame, someone else will, and you'll lose the game without knowing why. The first thing modern Machiavellis understand is this. In the battle for influence, facts are powerless without a frame. The frame is the context, the story, the vibe. It's the invisible filter through which people interpret the world. And once a frame is set, facts are bent to fit it, not the other way around. Think about politics, social media, or any heated debate. 2 people can look at the exact same footage and walk away with opposite conclusions. Why? Because they entered with different frames. Example: a CEO announces layoffs. One frame says, necessary for survival. Another says, greedy cost-cutting. Same fact, different frames, and 2 entirely different public reactions. Modern Machiavellis know how to define the lens before others can. This doesn't mean lying. It means contextualizing, influencing perception. Speak last. Let noise settle. Then frame what happened. Use analogy, story, or symbol. Repetition makes a frame sticky. Name the moment, and you become the narrator. And in a noisy world, People follow whoever sounds most certain. Frame proactively, not defensively. Plant seeds early. Control interpretation before your rivals even speak. Practice in small conversations, social media posts, or debates. Every moment is a chance to shape meaning. Rehearse different ways to say the same truth. Know how to reset the frame when it doesn't serve you. The more you frame, the more natural it becomes. Control the frame, and you'll shape reality. Short-term emotion is how pawns move. Strategy is how kings move. This law is about turning impulse into influence. It's the discipline to pause when others react, to play the long game when others chase quick wins, to detach from ego and master timing. It's not just emotional control. It's strategic patience, the ability to let go of momentary satisfaction to secure enduring power. You stop living in the now and start thinking in next. You become a tactician of time. Machiavelli didn't praise coldness. He praised calculation. He knew that most power is lost in emotional overreaction, speaking too soon, striking too hard, folding under pressure. This law is your antidote. Most people live in reaction mode. They respond to every slight, every insult, every mood. But the modern Machiavelli sees life like a grand strategy game, not a series of moments, but a map of moves. Machiavelli warned against rulers who act out of impulse. They burn bridges, escalate too fast, or expose their hand too soon. Emotion might feel good in the moment, but it gives your power away. Power is built in silence, with patience, with planning. Think of high-level operators, top executives, master diplomats, elite negotiators. They don't win by arguing better. They win by positioning better. They don't win today's battle. They win the war. Even in your personal life, if a friend betrays you, do you confront them immediately? Or do you observe, gather leverage, and strike when the time is right? Delay is power. Most threats collapse under time. Train yourself to pause. Ask, what's the outcome I want? How can I guide things there over time? Now add a second layer. Imagine 2 or 3 moves beyond that point. Anticipate reactions, prepare counters, set traps. Patience isn't weakness, it's foresight. Let your rivals burn themselves out while you conserve your moves for when they matter most. Power moves aren't loud, they're layered, planned, timed. Track patterns, build timelines, move like chess, not checkers. That's how kings play the game. Attention is currency. Spend it wisely. Withhold it strategically. This law teaches that overexposure kills respect. Power grows in mystery. When you vanish with purpose, people become obsessed with your return. Influence isn't in how often you show up. It's in how rarely. In a hyper-connected world, everyone's talking, posting, sharing, screaming to be noticed. But the modern Machiavelli knows that silence is often louder than noise. Strategic absence creates mystique. It builds demand. It makes people ask, where are they? What are they doing? Why did they pull back? Mystery creates power. It forces others to project. And imagination is more powerful than information. Think of powerful figures who disappear after a peak. When they return, they're bigger, bolder, respected, because they controlled their presence like a luxury product, scarce and deliberate. You don't need to always be online. Always be available. Always explain. Don't react immediately. Disappear occasionally. Speak less in meetings, so when you do, it lands. Make your appearances intentional, not habitual. Leave when you're most visible. Stay quiet after a win. Take breaks from social platforms to increase value. Practice digital silence before real-world silence. Send signals, not updates. Be present in key moments, then retreat. The absence will echo louder than the noise you could have made. Keep them guessing, but guessing within the myth you've created. The less they see of you, the more they'll want to. And that's influence few understand, and fewer can resist. People don't want the truth. They want their reflection. This law is the art of reflection. By showing people their ideal selves, their values, pride, even flaws wrapped in flattery, you unlock trust, favor, and influence. It's persuasion without pressure. One of Machiavelli's subtler lessons was understanding what people really crave. Affirmation, ego food, a sense that the world, and especially the people around them, reflect their own values, identity, and importance. That's where the mirror effect comes in. Modern Machiavellis use this law to build loyalty, diffuse threats, and gain access to power circles. The strategy is simple. Reflect others back to themselves. When someone sees their own thoughts, ideals, or style mirrored in you, they drop their guard. They feel connected, validated, seen. And once they trust you, you gain influence. This is not about manipulation. It's about social intelligence. Understanding that people rarely follow the most logical voice. They follow the one that feels familiar. In meetings, match tone and tempo. Speak their language, not just words, but values. Reference their goals before your own. Reflect strengths you want to associate with. Show admiration for qualities they pride themselves on. It builds rapport. If someone values independence, highlight their decisiveness. If they crave status, subtly position them as a leader. Even enemies can be disarmed by a well-placed mirror. I see why you did that. That move reminded me of something I once did. Use humor as a reflective device. Laugh at what they would laugh at. Emotional mimicry deepens trust. Echo posture. Repeat phrases. Let them feel familiar in your presence. The mirror is a tool. Use it wisely. By making others feel seen, you become invisible. In the most strategic way. A mirror is rarely noticed, but it's always remembered. Trust is not a strategy. It's a luxury. And power that isn't protected is power already lost. This is the law of containment. It's about recognizing that even allies can become liabilities. Without boundaries, your strength becomes accessible, and therefore exploitable. Your inner circle must not equal your inner self. You've made it this far. You're learning to think in frames, in moves, in silence and reflection. But here's the final test. Can you protect your power, even from those you like? The final law may be the hardest to accept, but it's essential. The people closest to you are the ones most capable of undoing you. This doesn't mean paranoia. It means boundaries. Machiavelli warned rulers that familiarity breeds contempt, that proximity can blur hierarchy, that comfort often leads to complacency. And in the modern world, the same rule applies in business, friendship, and influence. Many lose their edge because they assume loyalty is permanent. They relax their guard, share too much, let power leak through jokes, confessions, casual slips, until one day, someone they once trusted uses it against them. Power's not just what you hold, it's what you protect. And protection doesn't always look like walls. Sometimes it looks like silence, distance, knowing when to say less, knowing when to walk away. Even well-meaning friends can pull you off track, with guilt, with flattery, with distraction. They might not intend to harm you, but they can still compromise your clarity, drain your energy, or entangle you in their chaos. Maintain selective transparency. Be warm, but not exposed. Share values, not vulnerabilities. Empower others, but never forget who holds the real keys. When you rise, protect your pace. Don't overshare your next steps. Not everyone needs access to your planning room. Regularly assess your circle for those who add weight versus those who create drag. When you create distance, do it with grace, not drama. Let silence set the boundary. Quiet strength leaves no resentment, only respect. And never forget, what feels loyal today can turn opportunistic tomorrow. Review your confidants quarterly. Observe how people react to your wins. It reveals how they'll behave in your shadows. This law isn't about fear. It's about structure. Boundaries are what make relationships strong. Clear roles, clear lines, clear respect. Even your allies should know your power is not up for negotiation. And that's how you keep it. These aren't just ancient strategies dusted off from a Renaissance book. These are survival tools for a world drowning in noise, fakery, and distraction. The modern age rewards those who think deeper, speak smarter, and move with purpose. In a time where everyone is reacting, the one who plans leads. Where everyone wants attention, the one who withholds it becomes magnetic. Where emotions are weaponized, clarity becomes a superpower. Machiavellian thinking, the real kind, is not about domination. It's about navigation, about knowing the terrain of human nature so you don't get played, about seeing the angles, spotting the traps, and staying 10 steps ahead. These 5 laws aren't games. They're armor. They protect your time, your energy, your influence, and help you rise without selling your soul. Power is always being exchanged. The only question is, are you giving it away or using it with precision? To truly think like a modern Machiavelli, you must internalize one mindset above all. Nothing is personal. Everything is positioning. That doesn't mean being cold. It means being clear. Clarity allows you to separate ego from outcome, emotion from execution. You'll notice the world differently. You'll begin to study people, not just listen to them. You'll see the signals behind their words. you'll understand that every conversation is an exchange of power, status, emotion, control. And you'll learn to stay centered through it all. Power isn't a title. It's a way of seeing, a way of noticing. While others play the obvious game, you'll play the hidden one. And in that silence, in that awareness, you'll unlock the rarest power of all, the ability to move deliberately in a world that runs on impulse. This is how modern Machiavellis think, not with cruelty, with clarity. Now you see the board. You've been a piece, a player, maybe even a pawn. But Machiavelli's greatest lesson? You were never meant to play their game. You were meant to design it. Power isn't loud. It's not rage or noise or ego. It's silence, patience, precision. The modern world doesn't reward the kind. It rewards the clear. You've got the laws, the lens, the mindset. Now move like someone who's seen behind the curtain. No more blind loyalty. No more emotional traps. Just cold focus and warm execution. The game is real. And now, so are you. If you've watched this far, it means something clicked, something in you woke up. You don't just want motivation, you want strategy. You want clarity. You want power without apology. So subscribe now, not just for more content, but to stay dangerously informed. More laws, more tools, more ruthless insight, straight to your feed. Tap like to amplify the message. Drop your favorite law in the comments. Because the next generation of leaders, they won't just play smart, they'll think like princes.